Max Verstappen just won yet another championship. He proved everyone wrong and became the world champion. Verstappen has a lot to show to the critics, following a highly contentious season in 2021. By the way, Abu Dhabi concluded the majority of F1 fans believed that the 2021 champion was somewhat gifted to Verstappen. However, the Dutchman carried a heavy load, and the season started off quite difficult for him as well. New rules were implemented for the 2022 season, which was undoubtedly the biggest change to the F1 sport in recent memory. 18-inch tires have been used instead of the 13-inch tires that the F1 cars had in 2021, which is a significant increase in size. The biggest issue was getting to the car, because the entire bodywork had to be altered, something that Red Bull has feverishly tried to maintain within the minimal weight restriction of 798 kilos. The Barcelona and Bahrain testing revealed that the season would always be highly fascinating, or should we say rough. The aerodynamic phenomenon of porpoising has emerged as the largest obstacle for F1 teams to overcome as a result of the new regulations. Mercedes struggled greatly because of this, among other things. Hamilton won't pose a threat to Verstappen in the 2022 season, as we were able to see right away. Ferrari, however, was the team to beat. After Raikkonen's victory for the Italy team in 2007, Marinello made a solid start in the first few races and won the first Drivers' Championship. Leclerc and Ferrari got off to a good start, and the fact that both Red Bull cars retired in Bahrain while Ferrari finished 1-2 told us a lot about the course of this season. Verstappen won the second race in Saudi Arabia, after a similar skill showdown between himself and Leclerc as in Bahrain, but had to contend with reliability concerns throughout the first race, which explains why the club missed a number of games at the season's beginning. After winning the second race, they stopped setting into a routine because it became clear that Leclerc would be the driver to beat until the end of the season, and that would be witnessing a true skill duel between these two drivers. However, in the third race in Australia, Verstappen's season took a significant knock once more. Leclerc was in the lead and set the quickest lap when Verstappen had to retire the car because of a fuel pump problem. Verstappen was clearly not going to catch Leclerc in Australia, but instead of cutting his lead to 8 points, he later increased it to 26 points. Verstappen was going to have a difficult time defending the championship after just 3 races, but he had no idea that Ferrari would struggle in the upcoming races due to terrible luck. Leclerc spun when attempting to pass another car in Italy, the 4th race of the season, and finished P6 after dropping a few positions. Verstappen took first place, with Perez coming in second. The next races in Miami demonstrated a significant edge that Red Bull possessed over the other teams, namely the straight line speed, and the championship soon took a different direction. The Austrian squad was superior at a straight line speed of about 20 to 30 kilometers per hour, which is how Verstappen was successful in earning yet another victory. However, it appeared to be much faster in Barcelona, but his engine had reliability problems. He dropped out, which increased the lead and marked the beginning of everything, and Leclerc once again suffered in the subsequent GP at Monaco. The Marinello crew was able to give 2 victories to the fiercest rivals, despite Red Bull's poor performance in both of these races compared to Ferrari. The Italians' team nightmare came true at the next showcase in Baku. After Leclerc was passed by Perez at the start of the race, it looked like we were in for an intriguing race, but Red Bull ultimately held the advantage. Pit breaks were going to be important in this situation. However, due to hydraulic problems and turbocharger failure, both Ferrari vehicles had to be retired. After the Emilia-Romagna and the Barcelona events this season, this was the 3rd competition when Red Bull earned another 1-2 finish. After his victory in Monaco, Perez was only 15 points behind Verstappen going into the Baku GP, making him a title contender at this junction. But the Mexican had no idea that his teammates' utter dominance would make winning the championship a distant ambition for him in the following period. Leclerc was now irate at the fact that his car wasn't performing as it ought to at this point. Verstappen, who witnessed his chief competitor get a fresh engine in Canada, thought this was all excellent and warmly welcomed. Verstappen won the race, which was the 9th competition of the year, after starting from the pole, and Littler finished 5th after coming up from position P20 on the grid. The lead kept growing, but Leclerc was able to reduce some of it in the following 2 races in Austria and Silverstone. Leclerc, on the other hand, gave the Marinello team a chance to win at Silverstone, while the obstinate team ran a damage limitation race and placed 7th. However, the Italian team mishandled its strategy once more and had to settle for a P4 finish. Leclerc won the Austrian GP for the first time since the Australian GP, and it turned out that time management was crucial to his victory. Because of this, Leclerc defeated Verstappen, and just when we anticipated an exciting season in the following time, the French GB occurred. Verstappen won the race once more, increasing his advantage over Leclerc to 63 points. Look low spawned in the barriers. From this point on, the crown was essentially out of reach. The fact that he took first place in events like the Hungarian ring race when Leclerc started second and finished 10th. In events like Spa, where Verstappen began at position 14 and assumed control on lap 12. This simply serves to demonstrate that the Dutchman had the most powerful car and the finest abilities to prevail for the remainder of the season. Verstappen had 5 victories in a run prior to the Singapore Grand Prix, but the streak came to a stop here, as he couldn't finish higher than 7th. Nevertheless, he won the Monza Grand Prix earlier in the season despite starting from position 7, and doing so ably. Max Verstappen has a second chance to win the title at a Japan GP, after failing to do so in Singapore. Verstappen got off to a strong start in the qualifying, posting the quickest time in Q1 at 1 minute 32.34 seconds. Verstappen once more recorded a strong time of 1 minute 30.36 seconds in Q2. Verstappen finished third in the second quarter. A noteworthy exchange between Norris and Verstappen occurred in Q3. On the lap after the pit stop for both drivers, Lane Verstappen appeared to lose control of his Red Bull as he warmed up the tires. At that very moment, Norris approached quickly, causing him to swerve into the grass to escape a collision. Verstappen won the opening lap of Q3 and secured pole position. He continued to lead Leclerc by only 0.01 seconds. Theoretically, if Verstappen managed to outscore Leclerc by 8 points at the Suzuka circuit, he would win the race. He needed to win the race and complete the quickest lap to earn an extra point. Verstappen began the race on the sopping wet Suzuka track in the first place, followed by Leclerc in the second. Verstappen was dead to brake, so Leclerc got off to a better start. He was able to stay adjacent to him on the outside layer in the corner, giving him the upper hand in the following corner. It quickly became apparent that racing was nearly impossible due to the strange weather conditions and maintaining the lead. Drivers had trouble seeing, and Sainz's first vehicle crashed shortly after. Verstappen was in the first place when the race shortly began after roughly 2 hours behind the safety car. There was still 45 minutes left in the competition. Verstappen finished the race with a strong drive. After this, Verstappen dominated the race, and Leclerc was only able to maintain his proximity at the beginning. He finished over 30 seconds faster than the other drivers. At the conclusion, Leclerc and Perez, who were battling for P2, had another altercation. Leclerc skidded off the track before re-entering it in Perez's line. Leclerc and Perez then finished in that order, with Leclerc coming in second. But shortly before the finish line, the FIA penalized Leclerc for 5 seconds. As a result, he dropped to P3, while Perez advanced to P2. Verstappen was long believed to have fallen short of the winning title, because it is against FIA regulations to award the maximum number of points when a race is stopped for an extended period of time due to rain. However, it came out that the rulebook included a different version where the maximum number of points may be awarded. Also, there was a great deal of misunderstanding at Team Red Bull. Verstappen ultimately won the World Championship in Japan, knocking Leclerc down to third place as a result of his 5-second penalty. So now you know how Max won the championship. This was all for today, and we'll see you at the next one. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, as we will be bringing you everything. We'll see you at the next time.